Hi everybody, welcome again to Health Science 501, and we are here starting week 1, and every week we will have, or I will provide for you just a short introductory video as an overview of the assignments to expect for the week, the reading assignments, and the written assignments and assessments that are due for the week. So I will give a little bit of extra tips and tricks, some feedback and comments. This week, I'm going to be discussing how to sign up for your groups, for your group assignment that a couple of your homework assignments require. So I know that some of you may have questions on that. In addition to watching these overview videos, if you have any additional questions for the week on the course content, just on our late policy, if you're really struggling, to meet deadlines, just what you have prayer requests, whatever it might be, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm always here for you and would love to hear from you. You can always email me, is probably best, or if it's during my office hours, you want to set up an appointment or you want to call. And or if you are a full-time working adult, as I believe the majority of you are, and you want to schedule an evening office hour, I'm more than happy to do that. So just reach out to me and let me know how I can best support you. This week we are reading from our textbooks, chapters 1 through 4. This is the 7th edition of the text by Bodenheimer and Grumbach. There was a new textbook, I think a couple years ago, so make sure that you do have your hands on the correct edition. We're reading chapters 1 through 4. I always provide your lectures in 2 ways. So these are the PowerPoint files. Hopefully you can see my mouse cursor over here. These are the PowerPoint files. Most of the files are pretty large because they have a voice recording attached to them. So they do take a few minutes to upload onto your computer, but some students like those PowerPoint files if you want to go through slide by slide or take notes. I've also provided my lectures as a YouTube recording, so these obviously download much faster, but you can't take notes on the slides, right, because it's just a YouTube video. So whatever version works for you, I've provided that for you. So chapters 1 through 4 is what's required this week. We are working on some interprofessional collaboration for the week. So in the first 4 weeks, you will have a supplemental reading in addition to your textbooks. I've provided just a short article here and so 2 short articles that you can find from these links, and make sure you take a look at those as well. We are working, like I mentioned, on collaboration, interprofessional practice, so just 2 short articles and some tools that you will find useful. This second link is an awesome resource. It has a lot of tools and different resources that will be helpful to you as you work through your assignments throughout the course. So make sure you take a look at those also, and those will also be included in your weekly quiz. So every other week, I believe, but make sure you take a look at your course schedule, you will have a reflection assignment, which is a discussion board. This week, our first reflection is on Medicaid challenges. The first part of that, what I'd like for you to do is give me a brief introduction, and then also your classmates, a brief introduction of one another. Most of you, I think all of you in this class are MPH students. So where are you in the program? Is this your very first day, your first week? Are you in your second year? Maybe those more seasoned students can provide a little bit more guidance to the students who are newer. Is this your very first time taking an online class? I would love to hear from you. Let me know where you're working, what your career goals are, why you are pursuing an MPH. We would just love to hear more from you. And the fun part, right? If you're not in this class, what would you be doing? So you can actually read through the requirements for the reflection on your own. Make sure that you write in a professional manner, right? This is not a text message, so we need capitalization, things like that. You don't need to write your discussion post in APA format, meaning I don't need a title page or an abstract, but you should be including in-text citations and references, and obviously, like I mentioned, proper grammar, things like that. Your post should be between 250 to 500 words, so that's about 1 to 2 pages double spaced. So if you want to write it, for example, in a Word document and then cut and paste it here into Blackboard, that would be sufficient as well. You're also required to use outside references, so whether it's your textbook, other websites. I always recommend academic references, which are a little bit better than your popular sources, right? So anything that comes from a book, .gov websites, or academic articles. Peer-reviewed journal articles are probably the better sources, but of course you can also use websites as well. So your initial post is due Thursday by midnight. So that's your first post. Now, responses to your classmates, you are required to respond to at least 2 classmates, and those are due by Sunday at midnight. So make sure that, I would recommend obviously reading through more than 2, but you're required to respond to at least 2 of those. Those responses are a little bit shorter, between 100 and 250 words, about a half page to a page. Don't want you to say, hey, Janet, that was a good point. Well, let me know why you agree with me. Follow that up with some support from the literature. So if you're saying that the new changes to Medicaid were great, well, give us some examples and let me know where you found that material and support your thoughts. Okay, so those your 2 classmates' responses are due Sunday at midnight. You have a quiz every week. You will have a quiz that covers your reading assignment. So this week, your first quiz is going to cover your chapter ratings from your textbook and those 2 supplemental articles. Each quiz is just 10 multiple choice questions, either multiple choice, true, false. You have 30 minutes to complete it. So it's open note, open book. You're obviously taking this at home, but you have 30 minutes to complete it. So if you've done 0 reading or haven't even opened those websites, that may not be enough time to complete your quiz. And each quiz is worth 30 points. So you'll have 8 quizzes throughout the entire class. So they do add some substance to your grade. So just make sure that you are prepared before you are taking your quiz. Okay. The last thing I wanted to discuss was a collaborative opportunity that we have in this class. So just 2 of your assignments, which is homework number 1, the first one, that homework number 1 is due next week in week 2, and homework number 2, which I believe is due during week 4. For those 2 assignments, they will be submitted as a group. So for the next 3 weeks, you may, even be starting now, you'll be working in a group, and what you will be doing is creating a preventive care plan for a patient. So we have a community partner that we will assign you to, and you'll receive a little bit more information even so next week. And the community partner is somebody who works out in the community, either for a healthcare organization or from the Department of Public Health, and we want you to be able to work with that community partner and create a preventative health care plan, or give some guidelines for that patient on how to access care. Perhaps they're an individual who does not have healthcare coverage, so how can they still access some healthcare services that are available to them? So I just want to discuss how the group assignment works and how you sign up for a group. So there are 3 groups available based on the number of students in the class. I believe most of the groups are going to have about 5 students. One of the groups may have an extra based on the number of students who were in the class. So group 1 are typically the students who are available during the day. Maybe you're somebody who likes to get your work done in the early part of the week. During the day. Group 2 are those, maybe you work full-time and you typically only are available to work during the evenings, again in the early part of the week during the weekdays. And group 3, maybe you're those individuals who typically complete all of your work during the weekend. Now that's not to say that that's the only time you're going to be available. You're expected to have regular effective contact with with myself as your instructor and with the rest of your group a daily or at least several times a week, and correspond and communicate with your classmates. But I separate our groups this way because I know that most of us are, everyone in the class are working adults. You're adults who are coming back to school, so I want to be cognizant of your schedule and your time availability. So make sure you sign up for one of the groups. If you have not signed up for a group by the end of the week, so Sunday of week 1, I will place you into a group that is open. A couple other things that I want to discuss is that you will have access to a group discussion board. So this discussion board is one that's viewable by your group only and myself, the instructor. So the rest of your classmates can't access that. Make sure in that discussion board is where you will share your contact information during week 1. So you aren't going to be required to use this discussion board for further communication during the course of this group work, but it's available for you, and I think it really is an easy and a great resource. I know that most of you will choose to either group text, group email, use a document sharing system like Google Docs. You also have the availability to share files in Blackboard as well, and you can email your group from Blackboard. So there are a lot of group tools, that are available, and I'm going to provide a separate video to this one with all of those tools. At the end of your group assignment in week 4, you'll be completing a peer evaluation where you can evaluate each group member's performance in your group, and that's actually going to account for 20% of your final homework assignments grade. So do make sure that you participate. Especially being in a distance learning class, I think it's just really important, and it's been so helpful for these group assignments. You'll have a couple during the span of your program here to get to know one another. If you both live in the same area, get together, meet for coffee. If you work in the same field, share information and collaborate. It's just really nice having somebody else in your program so you're not so siloed, that you can kind of go through these classes together. All right, here is another link provided by our IT, discussing some of those group tools and available functions in Blackboard. And again, I'll go through that with you in a separate video that I'll provide. So if you click on this link up at the top for homework number 1 and 2, preventive care and healthcare access collaboration groups, hopefully this works out for me. Let's see. So you can see that here's group 1. And let's say that I am somebody who typically I want to sign up for group 2, right? So I want to work typically in the evenings during the weekdays. So I'm going to click on this link. It says view sign up sheet to join a group. So here we have, when I clicked on that link, I have group 1. I have a couple members who've already signed up, and you can see the maximum amount of members allowed is 5. I want to sign up for group 2, right? So this one is group 2. So I'm going to click the sign up button, and I'm not going to do that because I don't really want to add myself to the group. But once I click on that sign up button, I will be added to this list of group members, and then there will only be room, obviously, for 3 more in that group. So make sure you sign up for your right group. Again, you can go into that discussion board. I'll show you how to do that. And you can go into that discussion board and share your contact information so that you can get started on your group assignments. Next week, at the beginning of week 2, I'll be providing you some more details on how to get started. And again, just really excited for this group assignments. It'll only take you through a couple of weeks, but it gives you that chance to work together with your classmates and our community partner. And also, I'm just really excited to share the next 8 weeks with you. So please reach out to me if I can be of any support to you throughout the session. I am here for you, and I'm just so grateful for this time that we get to spend together. So God bless each and every one of you. Hope you have a great week this week, and looking forward to speaking to you all soon.